Welcome back to another episode of Sports-Fixx. I'm your host, Carson Becker. We are back talking about the Super Bowl. Now that it's over, the NFL season is done. Basketball picking up, getting close to March Madness, getting close to conference championships, conference tournaments there in basketball. So we'll talk about all that in this episode. A lot of great basketball games coming on in the next coming weeks, and some great games this past weekend, which I'll talk about in this episode. So first, I would like to talk about the Super Bowl, give you my thoughts. Obviously, Seahawks win the game. They are Super Bowl 60 champions. It was not the best game, but it was very much a defensive game, and the Seahawks defense really took it to the Patriots right from the beginning, right? Made Drake May very uncomfortable, was getting sacks all over the place. Left side, that Will Campbell side of the offensive line, had struggled all postseason, and it was no different in this game, except this game, Patriots couldn't win it. So, little to no offense from the Patriots, until like basically garbage time is the only time they really scored. So not a whole lot of offense from their defense played pretty well, especially Christian Gonzalez, which I'll get into that a little later. But it made the Seahawks blitzed early in the game. They blitzed a lot, and it got a lot of pressure. But by the end of the game, they had blitzed so much, they'd gotten Drake May into kind of this, he had happy feet, wasn't really reading the defense, kind of just trying to force plays. It made it so he was basically, like a lot of people were saying Sam Darnold last time he played the Patriots, we're seeing ghosts, basically saying the same thing about Drake May in this game. He got very uncomfortable in the pocket, didn't want to sit in the pocket. They forced I think it was technically an interception where they hit his arm. It looked like a fumble. I think it was actually an interception. You do another interception, wasn't a great pass, but he had pressure on him again. I mean, a lot of pressure and just not a lot of answers. The left side of the offensive line definitely needs some work next year if the Patriots want to be back. I mean, it wasn't great. They were rushing 4 guys and getting to the quarterback in 3 seconds. So, a lot to work on there. It forced Drake May into some bad throws, missed throws, just not really reading the defense, more worried about the pressure coming at him. So the Seahawks defense did a great job at getting him uncomfortable, and they saw that all playoff. It had been Drake May really wasn't comfortable, and Patriots were just finding ways to win. They were getting enough offense to win the game, putting up enough points to win. So it was great by the Seahawks defense, very much a defense battle. Held them to 12 points through 3 quarters, the Patriots defense did. And, I mean, if you're holding a team to 12 points, you expect their offense to put up some points and stay in the game. Patriots defense did all they could to keep them in that game, and the little to no offense was just not enough. So, but getting back to the Patriots defense, Christian Gonzalez played a great game, had a bunch of pass breakups, saved the touchdown at the end of the half, saved the touchdown early in like the first or second quarter, whatever time that was, that deep ball. Really kind of shut down JSN for most of the game. He only had 4 catches for 27 yards in this game, and he had been going crazy all season. Kenneth Walker had a great game, MVP of the Super Bowl. Really had a great game. Patriots really couldn't stop the run unless they brought every single person down, and then the Seahawks took advantage of that with scoring their 1 touchdown with a play action to the tight end. So it was really just a great performance from the Seahawks. Patriots really just didn't look that great. People say they didn't deserve to be in this game. Whatever. They were in the game. The game was played. Wasn't one of the greatest Super Bowls you'll see, so it's over. But Seattle Seahawks are the Super Bowl champions. Super Bowl 60 2026 season is now over. So I'll look now to the Seahawks, who are Super Bowl champions, like I said. But one thing I would like to say before I get into the whole basketball, all the basketball stats and men's college basketball going on right now. You know, you've been talking about it all season, Patriots. The people have been talking about it all season. The Patriots having an easy schedule, not playing good teams, and even in the playoffs, all this stuff, right? So, if you guys didn't know, the Patriots do not set their schedule. The NFL sets every team's schedule at the beginning of the season, and it's typically based on how well they did the year before. So if they were the 3rd team in their division, they typically will play, when they go out of their division or out of their conference, they'll play the 3rd best team in that conference. Typically, that's how they do it. So if a team goes and wins the Super Bowl, they were the 1st in their division. They would typically go and play the the best team in another division. So that's how the schedule gets made. So you really can't blame the Patriots for how their schedule was. It's more on the NFL. And basically, the NFL was looking at a team that had 4 wins in the last 2 seasons. So they're not looking at a team that's going to be that great. Really, Patriots didn't really add that many weapons to their team this offseason. They added Stephon Diggs, which was a huge part of the offense, obviously. They drafted Will Campbell, who everybody thought was going to be good at blocking. Hasn't quite turned out that way. So they didn't really add that much. The defense was kind of already set. They already had a really good defense. Their offense was really the problem. So they didn't add a ton of weapons. It didn't really look like they were going to be that great. 4 wins. Most people, Patriots fans, probably hoping for a playoff spot, maybe get into the playoffs, maybe not, kind of sit right on the bubble, not get to the Super Bowl, right? Not go and win 14 games. So when you talk about their schedule, just remember this is a team that came off 2 straight 4-win seasons, and that's how the NFL sets up their schedule. That's how they do it. If you're the number 1 team in your division and you go play somebody else from your division, from another division, you're going to play typically the number 1 team from that division. Also, the Patriots have the Jets and the Dolphins in their division, which that accounts for 4 of their 17 games right there. So that's also another reason their schedule was very, very bad, because the Jets were not very good. And the Dolphins really weren't that great this year either. So it's really more on the NFL based on their schedule. And then you get into the playoffs. It's not the Patriots' fault that the Chargers have no offensive line. Chargers still got to the playoffs with that offensive line. They still got there. They still did everything they did with that offensive line with Justin Herbert. So it's not their fault. Texans, it's not the Patriots' fault that Nico Collins went down and wasn't playing in that game. All these things, it wasn't their fault that Bo Nix got hurt. Like, all this stuff. So you can't really blame the Patriots. It's kind of just how it shook up. And if it was any other team going through it, I'm sure people would say the same thing, because people are always going to say something about it. But, it's really just not on them. And also, the NFL does all their schedules based on how they think, like, they do it in, like, the off season. So they don't know exactly how good these teams are going to be when they're setting up the schedules and stuff. So it's just, that's one thing I had to say, just because I know the Patriots it was like the worst schedule we've seen. And I know that's really bad, but at some point you don't blame them, you blame the NFL for it, not the Patriots. So it's just one of those things. It just happened to be that way. The Patriots got maybe a little lucky throughout the playoffs with Nico Collins going down, Bo Nix going down. And I agree. I think Bo Nix plays in that Patriots game. The Broncos probably win that game, and they give you probably a much better Super Bowl than what the Patriots just did. So I agree. I think it's a little annoying if you're a Broncos fan. You're a little mad because you probably know that you guys are going to put up some points in that game, make it a much better game. I think the Seahawks maybe still win because that defense is just insane, but it's probably a much better game. So when talking about the schedule, look back and see that the Patriots were not the only ones with these bad schedules. Go look at the Bears' strength of schedule. Go look at some of these teams that weren't supposed to be in the playoffs, that got into the playoffs. Go look at their strength of schedules and tell me what rank they were in the NFL by the end of the year. Because there's some other teams in there that were in the playoffs that did not have good strength of schedules, and nobody talked about it because it's the Patriots. So just remember that the NFL sets it, not the Patriots. So this isn't college ball. So now I'll get into college basketball. We saw a couple of great games this past weekend, starting off Michigan State versus Illinois, top 10 matchup. It was a great game, and I can't believe I bet against Tom Izzo at home in a big game like this. I knew I should have done it. Illinois wins that one 85-82 in overtime. Couldn't even decide this one in regulation. Tom Izzo just knows how to win those big games, and he always seems to find a way. Both these teams very good. Should make pretty deep runs into March Madness, I expect. And we'll see how they go throughout the rest of the year. They're both very good teams. And we'll see kind of the conference tournament and how they go into March Madness, what ranks they end up being, and we'll see who they play. They are 2 very, very tough teams to play. So we'll see with that. The next game I really liked this past weekend was last night, actually. Arizona versus Kansas, 1-9. Kansas pulls off the upset at home, giving Arizona their first loss of the season. And another two fantastic teams going head to head. We're getting into those conference games where we start getting head to head, start getting great games. SEC has great teams, ACC has great teams, Big 12 has great teams. All these teams getting head to head, getting into conference play. Going to see some great games the rest of the year. And this was another one. One thing I saw with Arizona, though, was the fact that they shot 57% from the free throw line. That is not going to get it done in these big games. And in March Madness, typically a team that doesn't shoot well from the free throw line in a game doesn't typically win games. So if they're going to get to the free throw line, they're going to have to make those free throws. They are sitting kind of middle of the pack in free throw percentage this season, which obviously hasn't played a huge factor yet. But if they continue shooting 57% from the free throw line, they're going to lose some games, especially when it gets down to those close games when you need free throws. If you can't hit your free throws, you're not going to win games. So we'll see what happens with Arizona. That's their first loss of the season, so still in a great spot to be maybe the best seed in March Madness, depending on how they do the rest of the season and in their conference championships. So we'll see with that. And just one more big game was North Carolina versus Duke. The rivalry, it was a great finish. I mean, couldn't get much better of a finish in this rivalry. It's always a great game. Seth Trimble makes the three-pointer hits the game-winning three-pointer to win the game. One of the best games of the season. The rivalry lives on. It was a fantastic game all the way through, close all the way through. Comes down to the wire, and North Carolina wins at home, beats Duke. They will play each other again at the end of the month in Durham, in Duke, and so we'll see how that game goes. But this one was definitely one we're going to remember in this rivalry. And if you guys didn't know, there's only one remaining college basketball team that is undefeated. If you know it, say it. It's Miami of Ohio is the only remaining undefeated team in men's college basketball. Very impressive, 23-0. They're a great team. Obviously, we're going to talk about the fact that they're not playing these Big 12 teams, these SEC teams, all these teams. But still, to do it in college basketball, it's very hard to go undefeated throughout the whole season. So we'll see if they can keep going, stay undefeated all the way through. Some people could be picking them to win a couple games in March Madness if they keep this up. So we'll see how they go the rest of the way. Should be exciting. College basketball, always a great time. March Madness, one of the best tournaments in sports. So we'll see how it all goes down the rest of the year. And that's all the games I will talk about in this episode of Sports-Fixx. Thank you for watching. I am Carson Becker, and I will see you next time.